An incredible way to kick off our first best of three, Hugo Byron. A double overtime win, nearly to push to a third. Dust 2 was explosive, the pace was action-packed, and that man on camera, not me, Valda, was fantastic.
Maybe us, we were pretty fantastic. Yeah, no, what a game. I mean, kicking it off on North's pick as well and still going to a double overtime really sets us up for what could be a long 3-map series with some maybe overtimes on the way as well.
I mean, considering that we were trying to paint the picture as like this being a a potential 3-map win for AGO, needing not necessarily Dust 2, and then for them to show up on it and push us into this double overtime brawl is just downright awesome, right? Like, remember last time these two teams played on Dust 2? I think one of the only times we've seen AGO actually on the map, it was the 16-14 victory for these guys here on screen. But I think moving into Train now kind of pushes that out the window, right? Sure, North, they're not strangers to Train itself, but I am quite convinced with AGO's Train play.
Take into account as well, even if AGO do pick up Train here and we go to a third map, that third map is Inferno. While necessarily usually a good map for AGO, as it is for both teams, last time these two guys played in Inferno, North 16-0'd them. So yes, that can be put down to an anomaly, but even so.
What does worry me is the fact that, I mean, again, Red Reserve is also another good Train team, but we saw that double overtime victory from a Go in their opening matchup, right? 22-20 was the win. So that was a little bit worrisome in my mind, a little shaky for a team that I would have, prior to that result, put maybe on a bit of a pedestal. So there's definitely some variables here that are a little rocky, but then remember, of course, that North have recently lost to Imperial. Sure, I'm not taking anything away from those guys. They topped their group 2-0, right? Yeah. That's fantastic. But North obviously susceptible to the potential of these upsets. So
I mean, Imperial 16 forward AGO as well, they wrecked them.
Yeah. So, I guess both these teams have that as a common denominator.
I think the only thing we can really take away from this so far is Imperial are way better than we expected them to be coming into this event. Like, I don't think anyone expected them to get out of groups, let alone first place.
To just give Imperial an extra little kind of notch, right? I think this is the best level of play we've had from that team since their first kind of emergence at Copenhagen Games.
I'm so excited to see how they do coming into the best of threes, though. I want to see if, of course, a 16-4 is not a fluke by any means, but I want to see if they can put that up across a 2 or 3 map series, if they can consistently do it on one game. So yeah, it'd be nice to see, and of course we will. They are in the semi-finals. They will be coming up at least tomorrow, and to kick at least now off, we have Train. So let's get back into that one at the very least. Move on from Imperial as North ready themselves, trying to figure out their game plan coming into this game, and it is not going to be as simple as Dust 2. Not that map was simple by any means.
No, definitely not, but remember, of course, that this was supposed to be their choice of map, and it did not go nearly as smoothly as they would have hoped for. So suddenly finding themselves here, Hugo, on a map that they're not necessarily favored to win is probably worrisome. I wouldn't blame them for being a little concerned, because we saw some real stars there from AGO. I mean, I feel like Snatchy was coming out on... I'm trying to think. We obviously highlighted the head-to-head at the beginning of the series, right? And I'm trying to give an edge to either of the oppers, but I feel like it's been pretty even keel. Mertz was denied a lot of opportunities when he was on the T side by the setups of a Go, so I feel like they definitely tried to take that into consideration when they were positioning their pieces, not giving him a chance to shine. And then we saw the emergence of Snatchy, only to be responded back to once they swapped halves by a great showing from Mertz on the CT half, where he's plucking players through mid doors. But then, again, towards the end of things, it swapped once more. Yeah. It's been very back and forth, but I feel like now we end up on Train, which is an Opera's paradise, so let's continue that narrative.
Yeah, not just us two, but this one really is going to be the same case. One thing as well I'll be excited to see is the double AWPing on especially North side. I've been excited to see AZ take that mantle a little bit more recently in that second AWP. And of course, he's very strong with rifles nonetheless, but always good to see as well. One thing that was sick on the scoreboard was a 43 kills in that first map from Kiebi as well. He really had an incredible game. If he can continue that into this second map, I think AGO are not going to have it as easy as they would have liked. But if Kiebi can't have that hard carry, or no one else can for AZ, for the side of, sorry, I was looking at AZ, for the side of North, I think AGO should surely take this map. I'm leaning towards a third, Connor. I don't know if you are too.
Hell yeah, let's do it. We just got to work, right?
Yeah, let's make it long.
Let's. So, pistol round, folks, has AGO to the CT side to start off again their map choice. Double smoke grenade, 2 flashbangs here for North to try and set the execution, but it looks like we've got a bit of a wrench in the works. That's one hell of a way to start it. The one tap through the eyes of AZ. Of course, now MSL's kind of on damage control, and I'm sure that smoke has a purpose, so he'd hate to lose it. The flashbang's now being expended in order to try and clear these corners. Uh-oh. He's got his hands back on it, but MSL's still up close now, cannot fall off of this situation. He's committed to the duel, or so it seemed. He's going to force himself into it, and that's going to cost him. Snatchy finds a second.
And his whole role was to fake out that B site with that one bit of utility he had, so now North just have to desperately rush into a stack, or at least a setup where AGO have enough manpower to hold back, but we question KRB, and we shouldn't have done so, because he just found 2 entry kills at the back of the Glock. Furlan now the last man standing for the CT side. And he's got a big job to do here in this 1v3.
He's going to be able to creep himself a little bit closer. But now he's spotted from above, so Valda picks that one up relatively easy. And that was a pistol round that looked as though AGO could have grabbed it away from them. I mean, once MSL's thrown his pistols away, Hugo, that's an evident issue. But this was it. This was the play that really turned things around because, like you said, they just had to desperately head back into a stack, a position whereby AGO seemed so set up. Somebody had to bail them out of the sticky situation, and it was, in fact, KRB, continuing his success from the opening map of Dust 2 here on to Train, where AGO will force by and try to establish themselves over on Ivy. There is no presence there from North. They are further back towards spawn, so Tau has to be careful with this over-aggression, and because they see the smoke in that direction, they know there's presence here. I like this, actually. North just kind of setting up a pillbox, keeping their heads on a swivel, controlling both the pushes through T-Con and Ivy, and that's allowing for their team to get a little bit closer towards the B site, where they also then hesitate again. Now I'm kind of scared because they've given up forward positioning from AGO all over. They've got T-Con in their pocket and the Ivy peak, a 3-man B stack if North decide to head that way. And if they don't, well, they can spend time in these next minute to at least clear their corners, but that will burn time off the clock.
I think the big issue is if they walk into B. If they walk into A, even with the control taken from AGO, it's still the site for North and a post-plant that they surely can't lose up against such limitations on these pistols here. Groovy has a good spot to at least grab one, but surely no more. With Mertz beginning to walk in, it's actually going to be AZ going for that contact. And Groovy unsuccessful, only damage, and damage is not enough. And even though there are 30 seconds left up for North as they start to make contact, it's easy pickings for KRB. For one, Snatchy training back for the P250, and yeah, just getting overwhelmed here. North have control of the site, the bomb can go down, and our initial worries have been alleviated.
Still 2 players susceptible to death, Mertz and AZ. Not working with a full bar. They'll still have grenades on their belt, but clearly a go. Not looking to exchange in this foray. They'll patiently wait back. And that's perfectly fine, right? You've got Kevlar on one, Deagle's on both, hell, even a flashbang. Considering you're moving into a round where you're going to have utterly nothing. These Deagles, they at least double in value.
Clean as you would like it. North will not be caught out by Furlan stuck in the spawn. Before going forward to the next round, another anti-eco that North shouldn't have too much of a problem with. AGO have to just sit back, take it, and wait for that 4-buy round to come through. Again, if we think back to their first CT round on Dust 2, they pulled in the double ops on the initial buy, so the fact that they've actually saved a lot of money here, they could have done so, but no, only Snatchy has enough cash to go for that one, unless we have a couple of kills come through for a player on AGO here. So only 1 up in that next round, assuming North actually keep a lot of guns intact here and don't lose many players. They may even run a bonus round with SMGs, you know, try and make a little more money. Get a free AWP, potentially, off the body of Snatchy. And up through Ivy they go this time, but a big shot from Furlan to get rid of Valde early on.
Yeah, as he's trying to escape the flames, he takes one between the eyes. Oh, need to be cautious that not both Ivy players die. North keeping him up for now. Of course, a little bit of Curious George. PHR clips himself up the ladder. No way!
What?
That is tilt-inducing. But at least they're able to clean up the bottom of the ladder as AZ does fall down. Still, it's a man advantage up for AGO. Hugo, they're not supposed to win these rounds.
Yeah, this is getting really, really worrying now for North. They may have the rifles in their hands, but AGO have 2 players up on this A site. A fast rotation available from the man already in the CT spawn, and he's going to begin to wrap his way through as well. So North, they've got to get these next couple of kills without too much more damage lost. Kiebi down to 10 points of health, and they haven't spotted Tao, who's lurked his way behind, but he fires too early. It happens to the best of us, but this may cost them the round as Mertz takes him down, and 2 men left up for AGO. Surely this has fallen apart, and yes, it has. AZ saves the day with 3 kills, and North will get rid of the pistols, but there's no bonus round being run here.
No, there was a chance there, though. There was definitely a chance. We had that creep up over towards Olaf. We had the eventual ladder peak with an MP7. Weaponry was there for the potential upset, but in fact, here we go. It is the gun rounds now. North with a strong start. They have picked up all the pistol rounds so far in this series. So that's an issue for AGO. But alas, they will have an op here and now. They'll have grenades up around it. They're going to have that strong kernel defense on the A site early on. Snatchy getting himself the first kill, but Mertz is actually coming in with a double off of an AK. And Valda's going to take a position above. Now they're still looking for angles, and there you have it. Valda just clips the skull of Furlan straight off of the bomb site. Tao's barely hanging on here with just a smidgen of health, and Snatchy's looking for an opportunity to strike, which he does, back into the even keel, and there's so much time still to play with Hugo.
And he falls back as well inside of the connector, doesn't overface, even though his teammate's about to go down, or at least should do. Snatchy will remain strong in this round, although AZ just walks out of Pop Dog and takes him down. So forget everything I said. North are going to be able to pick it up with 4-0. A nice attempt there for AGO to pull it back, but unfortunately already low was Tao, and so he was easy to take down, and then Snatchy not ready for that late Pop Dog push. But good AWP shots nonetheless. Again, we already talked about the AWPing power coming into this game, and we're excited to see if it can continue like it did on Dust 2, with Snatchy being the top performer for his team in the previous map as well.
Yeah, and again, now we're moving into their home turf in terms of maps, right? We see AGO on train quite frequently. And we would assume that this is, therefore, Snatchy's paradise. But North going to be using a pause early on. I don't blame them, right? You're gunning for that reset. If you can smash the CT economy on a map like Train in the opening 5 rounds, that's like best case scenario.
Yeah.
And it's not as though AGO got out of that round with all 5 players standing. So they are susceptible to these kinds of situations.
Very minimal investment here from AGO. Still 5-7. Rare to see that nowadays, but PHR is donning his. And North with no SMGs to get rid of these pistols, but if anything, that's not a problem. They can easily take to range engagements, and Train is a good map for that as well, assuming they don't just get wall-banged out through pop like in the previous anti-eco. 2 players down on B for AGO. No heavy stacks, no aggressive setups. Fairly default, if anything, for AGO, so that's a big surprise for me. They may have a couple of players close up towards T-Con on the A site, but in these kinds of rounds, I like to see aggression. I like to see stacks. Don't just run a default setup, because you know North are going to win the average battle. Mertz has already opened up. He took down an aggressive player on B, so despite Pop Dog control being taken by North, they're going to look to walk right into this site where they've already found a man advantage. Second guy on the site going to call for a bit of help, and Furlan's going to need a good couple of deeks here if he wants to make this anywhere close to a round for AGO, but he just falls straight away, and these rotations far too delayed.
Yeah. North playing quite respectful in this round, right? I feel like they definitely could have been a little riskier in these situations, but alas, they'll still pick up their round inevitably. Like you said, it would have taken some huge deagle shots to kind of hammer back the initial engagement there of North. If you can slow it down, then the rotates are there in time. The Z players can actually get out amongst the trains as opposed to having to play at such a distance. And hell, even this flank could have come in a little bit quicker, right? So there was opportunities there for AGO despite having such a lackluster buy. And this one goes the way it should.
It's just the perfect idea or example of what happens when you just run a default setup with pistols.
Yep. You gotta play tricky here.
That was tricky. That's why you buy a CZ. PHR are going to go down at the end of the day, and Tao can't find a rifle to at least stem the bleeding. Mental bleeding now, with North 5-0 up, so a very good start to this map, considering not only are they on the T side, they're less favored of the 2 on Train, but also they're on AGO's map pick. But here's the AWP back in play for Snatchy, and the rifle's in the hands of the rest of the Poles. AGO with a very good buy ahead of them, but what can they get done with it?
quicker pace now by AGO, getting out into the train yard already, hoping for some contact, but there's nothing there to find. North, actually, they're just welcoming the push and the flank around from Ivy, just playing back in the cubby instead. And you can see the timing actually having a bit of an impact here towards Ivy control, because now it's at this instance that North will start to peer around the corner. Smoke's still in place, so it's not that big of a deal, but it's not as though Snatchy's actually over here. It's just Tao who has to offer it up. He knows that he himself is not enough manpower to probably stop any kind of a push. I would doubt that North throw just one player down that hallway, right? So you anticipate at least a couple. And in fact, that is what's on the other side. But they could also just explode their way out through the ladder room if need be. AGO being very respectful in the sense that they've offered up anything North want.
North have a really cool thing that I like to see on this map that MSL came up with, I assume. They break those windows up outside of Pop Dog while throwing in a pop flash into Pop Dog, and because you're breaking the windows, you don't hear the click of the flash. So maybe we'll see that later from North in this map. They're the first team, at least I saw, do that. 30 seconds left, Connor. They really are running low on time. This Ivy push has finally come through, and they've actually crept their way in. That's why North have delayed this one for so long, because Kiebi is just sneaking up and taking kills. One coming through, but AZ's doubled from the top of the train, and AGO are going to be knocked down to the depths of below. It's North continuing over this site, and even pushing into the connector. MSL confident and hungry for more and more kills. That's the round one. And yeah, even with a couple of consolation frags on the exit from Snatchy, it will not save them for at least a round.
No, that's a situation where Groovy, who's put into a difficult position with players creeping past, just can't contain the situation. I mean, you know that with the timing getting so low, North have to be inbound. And I feel like it's one of those situations where 3 seconds later, you contemplate maybe someone has walked out, but it was, of course, Kiebi to nail the timing. And then he had AZ back behind him to just clean up shop. So the player towards Old Bomb was the first casualty. Then, of course, even the player above up in the office, well, he wasn't peering downwards, right? You don't want that player exposed. You need him just tucked away. He's supposed to be the secret weapon. Neither of those men pick up their frags. Neither stand at the end of the engagement, so what's this? Oh, this is the trade frag from AZ out from T-Con, right? He gets both engagements. They were so distracted with those players all up close on the bomb site that they're just primed for the plucking.
And I like this buy again from AGO, not committing to anything crazy. They buy a few pistols and a scout round these safe guns, but they don't want to fully commit to the buy, knowing that this loss bonus is maxed out. They can fully buy up next round, have a double AWP if they even choose to. So for now, grit your teeth, try and get something crazy done, get aggressive, and they have done exactly that. A player walked down Ivy on his own, very, very close T-Con positioning, but North, they've just out-read AGO every single time we've seen this. Straight towards the B bomb site where only PHR sits on the scout. No rotation for that AWP. That is so committed towards the A site as well, so this is going to be a real problem here for AGO if North do walk out, and they've done exactly that. Kiebi already deep into the site as well. The smoke is down. He doesn't need to push past it because AGO are not putting up any pressure so far. North just holding on to the bomb site as the plant comes through. Valdi looking for anything if AGO want to contest backwards, but I don't think we're going to see too much of a fight here from the CT side, and they're already being picked apart.
Yeah, this is unexpected, I have to say. Like, it's just all of a sudden every single duel seems to be being won by North. They have come back into this server reinvigorated, Hugo. They do not want overtimes. And again, it's not even as though, you know, it's not similarly to some of the situations we had on Dust 2 where we watched AGO pick up round after round in the form of, you know, 2 players surviving. This is North, even in gun rounds, getting away with, I was going to say 5, but I suppose 4 is still good enough.
That was a nice flick.
Yeah, it was. The skill is there. The rounds just aren't.
This is getting a little bit out of control for AGO. Head in their hands. Snatchy not looking too confident right now, but we need that to come right back in because we've got North on a 7-round streak, yet to give up 1 in the entire map on the T side of Train. And never predictable, never consistent. Apart from winning rounds, they are running down towards Ivy with 2 players, although we have actually seen this setup before. MSL holding the outside of Pop, and this could be where PHR is going to be pressured, but no, they walk past him. Back down towards B. where AGO have not been able to get aggressive so far. It's only Furlan on that site time after time. So the big risk with that is if you're playing a solo B, you never want to get aggressive up through the ramp, because if you go down, North are just going to hit that site instantly and probably win the round off the back of it. So AGO need to be very careful if they want to go for any kind of B aggression, as North have presence all over the map. 2 men still down Ivy. And the fact of the matter is, AGO are so passive on Ivy. Let's look back to that round 2 rounds ago where Kirby snuck his way down Ivy into the A site and got a kill. AGO can't afford to give away this much map control. They need to play more proactively. We need to see someone forcing a pick, Snatchy getting aggressive, fighting main, fighting Ivy, doing something. Because this AWP so far hasn't had any effect in the entire map. At least not to winning rounds, because they've got 0.
Again, we're going to get one of these situations where AGO are just letting North play to their own terms in regards to the execution. Sure, there's that extra element of pressure for North, seeing as the time is against them, but they've been successful in these situations before. It's this time they're getting denied on all fronts. Wow. My God, only Mertz left up. He's got his entire team down around him, and he's only good for 1. So just like that, it goes to show AGO haven't been doing anything wrong. They've just been missing shots. They've just been losing duels. And a clean sweep is just as convincing as things could have been. 1 to the board, not nearly enough as of yet. They have to turn around this half here and now. Imagine a reset in this moment.
Yeah, that would be killer. At least AGO kept 4 players alive, but even so, they want to win a little bit more than 1 round in a row, Connor. PHR close towards that E-box, and North, we've not seen too heavy contest towards main, at least so far, but they're going to go for it this time, just diving out. PHR first to fall, first to the chopping block as Snatchy looks to fire off from below, cannot follow up past 1. Valdi again with a big entry kill, and North are all over this site. Tao can spray down 2, dropping the bomb, but he's getting flanked, wrapped back round from Kirby, who cannot follow up, leaving just AZ sandwiched in between 2, not checking his right side, and Furlan will be able to blindside him. AGO, some casualties in the mix, but a second round on the board is exactly what they needed.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting into that little bit of a faster pace that Dust 2 started to devolve into.
Yeah.
See if they keep that up, but nice play there by Tao, just smearing that offense against the trains. That was crucial, right? He throws himself into an engagement, a duel that had to have come up with multiple frags, and he does. So props to him, although this one still not nearly over. They are in a difficult position. At least they don't get reset. The odds still so stacked against them at this current moment. But that's the beauty of the GG.bet live bets, Hugo. They change on the fly, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw these numbers shift. Right now, though, all 5 players up per team. Minute 20 on the clock. No contest in terms of aggressive positions other than the man down towards ladder room, but PHR, even with a Molotov in his face, he's not going to sweat it.
Re-smoke down, keeping North honest. Not letting them find this early pick. And AGO not hunting too heavily for it either. Again, we have Snatchy close up towards main with that AWP, but aside from that, AGO playing fairly default on this setup. And on that B site, North look to make a bit of presence as well. 3 players there, the bomb. We may have a bit of a smoke fake outside of the A site right now with 2 players coming towards that part of the map, but Snatchy poised and ready. We've not seen him in this position before, so maybe North are not going to be expectant of it, but walking around the corner as PHR, he's come up from Pop Dog. He's flanked all the way from the behind, and he's going to be able to take down MSL as well. They won't commit, though. They're not going to chase back for him. Valdi finally goes back up the stairwell for a kill, but Snatchy has split that main push in half. Everyone separated here for the North side, but everyone hitting their shots. The problem is time, and Snatchy can shut this entire round down with just 1 more kill, but he gets shot in the side of the back from Mertz, and only Furlan sits strong for AGO.
He's going to be moving quick back in through Z connector, already challenging and already down. Mertz locking it off with, of course, the final op shot. Solid stuff from North, but again, we're getting into these very tense situations in terms of time. And we've seen North lose rounds because of it. Hell, we watched AGO lose rounds because of it in the opening map. So these teams are playing a dangerous game, Hugo, and I love it.
All the more entertaining. That is the reset, Connor, as soft as you like it. 2 rounds in a row for AGO, but it's still going to screw their money over. An AWP and a single scout. with a saved rifle on Furlan. This is really not the best of buys for AGO. Heavy Ivy presence as well for North. They are going to be met with not much resistance. A scout and a USP on the other side, but can anything come through is the question. PHR does find one, and that's a bomb drop down, but North smoke it off, and they can easily pull it back. No need to, though. With this path open, the CT spawn looks like a likely opportunity, but instead the boost comes through, and Kiebi walks out through main in the meantime. Not getting caught, but getting wrapped instead. Snatchy doesn't need to find the kill, because Ruby's already dropped Kiebi with a pistol, and this round could fall out of control from North like that.
Just walk away. Just walk away. That's one of those situations where it's, you've got smoke in your face, the bomb's been thrown over, AGO have timing therefore, and Snatchy's got himself into what was a killer position, although he misses the shot. So he comes up dry. AZ in the meantime, he's crept his way all the way up to the B site, and then Furlan just flies onto the spindles, dropping him and putting AGO in a massive advantage. It's a 4 versus 2, and they don't have much Kevlar, but they've got so many kills. Oh my God. We talked about this potential reset costing them. Hugo, all they need was a couple guns and no Kevlar to make that one work. That's solid stuff. That's a lifeline.
Yeah, definite mistakes from North again. This seems to be a constant problem for this team in terms of throwing the bomb in first place. MSL likes to take the bomb, but he also likes to walk in first, which is constantly a battle. So North need to be careful of that when they were far too committed towards the Ivy position, and then combined with the fact that Kiebi gets killed by a P2K out through main, things start to fall apart. But North, with pistols this time, and powering through the P site, but Furlan and Gruby combined for 4. 2 apiece, and MSL may be joining the fray as well. He's going down to Tau. AGO, they got reset, Connor, but they're starting to pull themselves back into this map.
Yeah, this is one of those instances where North are just throwing ridiculous Hail Marys, just charging down towards ramp. But it's because you've already done such a good job on this T side. Sure, you could finish this with another couple, and obviously they'll try their damnedest. But you let a few rounds here slip. Obviously, this is the kind of stuff AGO would love. Just kind of picking up a couple, making this half still seem as though it's in the hands of North, which arguably it will be. Although we know AGO are competent on either side here, right? Can't let yourself get too far gone and never write off your opponents.
Yeah, it's like AGO are picking up the crumbs that North are leaving behind, but eventually...
Ooh, piece of candy.
If you do that too much, Connor, they're going to have a whole slice of bread.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to give them. You want them to remain frail. And North looking to get rid of the money on the AGO side that started to build up after winning that single eco. As you can see, 5,000 to 6,000 built up on this AGO team. Money good for now, but North have guns as well, and a fast play from Kiebi. He was so good at Dust 2, just finding opening kills like this, and although he's having a strong game so far, we need a big step up from him if he wants to find a little bit more. Already crept out down Olaf, but Snatchy's poised on the angle with the AWP, so if Kiebi goes for this fight, it's probably not going to go his way, but Utility can make this job easier. Get Snatchy off the angle, get him out of the position, but he still holds strong. Molotov in his face, blood as he looks for it. Ruby's already found MSL, but Kiebi's so patient here. Snatchy's just not getting any kind of kills coming through. Valdi's even going for the long flank as well. So actually this attention taken from Kiebi gives Valdi a chance to take him from the back.
Oh, but now there's 2 CTs also with their eyes trained for that. So Snatchy keeps his scope trained down lane, and that's where he picks up his first kill. But Kiebi can't make the most of it. He will just go one and done, leaving it to the 4 versus 2. There's bodies spotted above by AZ. Get denied. PHR with a PhD in scout usage there. Big play, and Valda, he just tries to pick up what remained, which is nothing. Nothing for North in that round other than a single kill. Solid stuff, but I do think it comes down to Snatchy being afforded such an amount of time. He was so constantly trained down lane, and even though Kiebi wasn't the first casualty, how long was Kiebi stuck in the corner? I mean, both teams tried to use Molotovs to burn those players out. It's like North knew they had to deal with Snatchy towards the Ivy train, and AGO knew they had to deal with Kiebi, who they knew was in Olaf. Both teams trying to accomplish those goals, both teams not being able to do it straight away, and then once this flurry of frags comes in, this exchange of kills, it's AGO's 5th to the board.
Yeah, and a little bit more as well, because North have nothing here aside from a solo CZ. So this is AGO's chance to not only find 6, but then pull them back from what was a pretty awful start to this game. North going full existence, using the eco to at least decide how they want to approach the next round. Basically a tactical pause, because this round is almost unwinnable anyway, and the one man who actually had a weapon is dead because Snatchy just pushed up.
Snatchy gets a kill, his team's asking, what are they up to?
They're in spawn.
I have no clue. They're, no idea. So op shots up close are now going to be the next piece of the puzzle. So it would have seemed PHR and Tao will bail everybody out, other than Snatchy, who does still die.
Boom.
What a grenade! What a turnaround, right?
Yeah.
Like after the precedent we saw set in the opening 7 rounds, this looked like AGO weren't going to get much done, and of course, that's why we say, right, don't sleep on them.
Let's think about the first 12 rounds of Dust 2. It was a 9-3 score to AGO, and they eventually lost the game. You know, North got the pistol and conversions, but then on, AGO got a 9-round CT side streak. So, even though you have a lead, it's not necessarily over. And North are learning that the hard way as AGO claw their way back into this game by tooth and nail. And again, no warp here for North. It's actually Mertz, the top performer for the team as well for this T side, so it's a shame to not see that in the final round of the half, but economy limitations coming through, and PHR on the back line. He's just been so quiet, and he strikes, taking 2. They had no idea what hit them. North are getting guillotined in this round, and still the bomb sits outside of B, but AZ holds the line.
Yeah, he was waiting for that hyper extension from PHR, and why not? It's a 5 versus 3 in the 15th round of the half. So AGO, in that instance, did not want to give any kind of real estate or composure to North. Although, because they get the kill, they've been able to regain something in this. A slight chance, a smidgen of map control. And there's still movement from AGO here. Not only back to Ivy, where Tao will best Valda eventually in that 1v1 duel, but I would argue over here towards the train yard as well, right? We've got Snatchy pushed up closer to the face of what remains here. He'll be able to exit, but then straight to his death, and now there you have it. Oh my God, Snatchy's good.
18 kills on the half.
So good.
Considering North started that off with a 7-round streak as well, Snatchy still had 9 kills at the end of that, the only player on his team actually having any impact. The second player had 2 frags in the first 9 rounds, or 7 rounds, sorry.
Again, it's beautiful, right? Because not only has Snatchy been so consistent over May, again, having over a 1.0 rating in 9 out of the 10 maps he played at Star Series, but he had a 1.23 rating at that event. And that's an event stacked with top-tier caliber teams, right?
Yeah.
This isn't just AGO of 2017 where we start to see them emerge in, you know, qualifying LAN events and just in DreamHack Opens. It's like they've gotten themselves into bigger situations, and still this man steps up. So tip of the hat. He brings it back.
And it was a deep tournament run for AGO as well, with top-tier opposition. That was the big factor, right? The first time they've really done that to the same extent. And, you know, none other than North knocked them out at that event in the quarterfinals, 2-1. We were on train as well. The North picked up 16-13. And then, you know, while AGO pulled up Dust 2, which North earlier have won in this series, Inferno was North. So, yeah, just think back to that. AGO looking to get revenge.
North have had some pretty good rivalries going on, right? Not only now with AGO, but also with Hellraisers as of late at certain events too. Some good storylines, but this one will leave us with an 8-7 half, which you think, oh, damn, North did a fantastic job on the T side, but remember it was a 7-0 start and an 8-7 final score. So obviously they could have had so much more. And you could argue the same in this pistol, because the only thing they hold on to is Kevlar. Sure, they're protected, they're safe. What was that angle? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
All right.
Smoke down. MSL going to be pressured, and the push coming through. MSL, only 1 shot. He can be confidently taking these duels, because up against Glocks, it's unlikely they'll win at range, and the bomb gets dropped all the way in the open. Valdi's going to have a great sight line down to lock this one down, but Snatchy's already caught the rotation, getting aggressive through the connector. So now North have pinched with a man behind enemy lines, and the bomb down on the site. Valdi going to fire off shots, and the retake is on.
Yeah, but that Z connector is still the possibility for Snatchy. No, it's Groovy on the bomb site, and Kierby from behind has the health advantage, but he's also got both kills. Straight through the eyes of Groovy, despite his best efforts. Another crucial round here. And that is all 4 pistols of this series thus far going the way of North. They've also fully converted all of them so far. This would be, again, the 4 for 4.
And this round should be a full eco, so this should be a conversion. I don't imagine AGO will go for a crazy buy here, especially considering how close the scoreline is.
It's just not their style.
No. very rare to go for those anyway. So we should be seeing full Glocks, some P250s maybe, a bit of a B-rush, maybe Ivy. Something where you can just group up and charge down a choke point, try and overwhelm someone with the pistols. And if they can get a bomb plant, make that next buy so much more lucrative. MSL though, talking of money, he's going to get aggressive with the SMG, looking to rack up the $600 per kill. First one found, being pressured from 2 spots. Mikiev is coming to make this job a little bit easier, but easier for Groovy, who again gets work done with the Glock, as now AGO are finding some serious damage on this A site.
Yeah, and if it's not damage, it's at least some kind of a footing, right? Look at the bomb carrier trying to throw himself into the fray. Although denied on multiple fronts, it leaves it all on Tau, and that's not the man with an M4. Although these CTs are so incredibly lit, look how susceptible they are. Oh, a second was on his fingertips. But a good night kiss back from North, and another round to their board.
Yeah, this is close. You're not wiping dirt off your shoulders anymore.
No.
Now AGO, they're going to be pulling in the rifles. I want to see if they have that AWP. They would surely have the glass cannon to get out in this round. No, actually, Snatchy has a lot more money than I expected. Of course, the bomb plant in the first round does help out, but North don't have their own AWP, so Snatchy for going for this pick could be an opening kill that can set AGO off to good footing on this half, something they desperately need considering these streaks of rounds that North have been able to put together. No one peeking for North. A double pop setup with one man on the outside.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this setup from North. I feel like they play it really well. Kirby's always so confident in this position. MSL's just always a great supporting player, right? He knows to set up the stars. Speaking of great players, here's Snatchy with an op, and he's just trying to use these lines of sight into the A site. He'd love to crack this open. Ooh, so close to MSL, and yet he still pounds him back with one straight through the gut. A player goes up and above, and that's AZ missing a spray down, which could cost his team a third from Snatchy. Single-handedly cracking open the A site. Come on, give us more and more. It could be the ace, Hugo. It is just a thing of beauty.
And sitting on 3 HP as well. He can't believe how easy he makes it look. Valdi is now the last man up, and he gives away his position with a drop. The plant coming through. Tau checks the angle, and he can clean up that final player. Snatchy, again and again, the best performer for this team. Try as he might, he will be trying to pull this team back into consideration in this second map. Their map pick. And look at these shots. He was on 3 HP in that one.
Come on, Kirby's around the corner. Give the guy a chance.
Just nothing from North in that round.
Oh, it is so good. I love to see him continue to succeed because, again, he is hyped up for this, right?
Yeah.
And so when you get these hard carries, hell, it's like watching Kenny S at times.
He's on 24 kills. He has 11 more than the second best player on the server.
He's the best opera in Poland.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's not even an argument.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So 2 scouts up now, AZ and Mertz. 2 Deagles surrounding it.
The CZ is lethal at close range, but I can't say this angle really helps it out. If they rush down ramp, Valdi's in a great spot, but considering contact is being made on the top side of the B site, even with the support from MSL, North are going to have a troubling time, or maybe they won't, because MSL starts it off well. Problem is, his teammate's dead, and he will join the fray. Everyone going down here for the side of North, and these double scouts have next to no effect. Only AZ left up, and he's stuck. Pinned back, still hits that headshot on the repeat, but he doesn't expect the second man in position, and he can't pick a target. AGO, 9 rounds up. They're clawing their way back into the game, kind of bit by bit, round by round, piece by piece.
Yeah, as we, again, could have expected. It is still early days for the CT side of North, but it is looking promising. They need to find a solution to Snatchy. They have to. And it should be coming in the form of Mertz. Again, he is the top fragger for his team too, but not nearly in the same amount of frags as a guy like Snatchy. He has doubled that of the man behind him, and this is not the round that North will contain anything, so you think. Ferlin will fall. The USP spam of this initial A-site setup. Now the Molotovs start to come out, so they're going through the motions, right? It's the damage control. Can we run out and kill everybody? Yes, but once it goes wrong, they reel it back in. They play smart and intelligent and tie things up at 10.
Another note as well is we have a different caller on this map for AGO. While Tao was initially the IGL for this team, he threw the rollover, I think, to Furlan, if I'm correct. And then yesterday, actually, in an interview on the desk with Parla, he said that for Cash and Train, he is the one that calls still. So Tao, in his initial role, in his original role, I guess, for this map. 10-10, here we have it. Mertz on the AWP, and look at the contact being made. Furlan's already out. The aim punch forces Mertz back off the angles. He's going to be pressured. Furlan, though, caught in the open, and Mertz finally finds blood. Looking to drop Snatchy as well. He's unsuccessful because PHR has the wrap down Olaf, and 2 frags. He can't make it a third, but still North hold the man advantage, and PHR down leaves Snatchy to find a hero play.
Yeah, no, it's for this reason AGO have the advantage. Snatchy's still alive, and he's just hunting for some kind of a kill here inside of the site, and I think North assume they have this clear. And that's going to be the problem. If Snatchy's patient, he could just destroy them. He's not going to push the envelope. He's just going to take himself one. That's going to open up T-Con now, and the Molotov denies this wraparound from Z. Just like that, AGO are back into action. And they could read into the fact that North may have gone for the Ivy flank. It would have made sense to have a player over there, and nobody tried to stop, of course, this position from Snatchy. So is T-Con in question? Most certainly. But AZ goes up and above. Can he go beyond? Ah, it's spotted, and he loses the duel. That's crucial. It falls onto the rotator. Valda, he doesn't even have a kit to work with at this current moment. He has no utility either, and time's already ticking so quickly, so he has to get this clutch going fast, and he's going to walk right past Snatchy's up. What a play from him. Again, he wins a round. Again, he wins a round, Hugo.
On his own, it seems, at times.
And that round starts in a sense where Mertz is nearly set up to succeed, right? Because I brought this up earlier, Mertz is a great opper when he has players surrounding him so that he can just fixate his attention. And that's what happened inside the A site. Furlan caught him off guard, but I love that Mertz just kind of swept that threat away, calls for his teammates to deal with it, and still Mertz was able to pick up another kill on T-Con. So he took someone off the back lines. He did their job. It was just that explosive trade frag back from PHR, and then the fantastic play from Snatchy.
Oh, this is awkward. PHR's caught out in the open. He's going to get dropped from Mertz above. And although we have limitations on North Spy, they've got guns to play with now. An AWP on MSL and a fluffed Molotov that may cost this team a lot more than they would hope. Groovy relieves some pressure by dropping Valdy, and the bomb plant coming in for Tower as well. So AGO at least have that on their favor, but they don't have the player advantage. AZ's Deeg reigns supreme over one. And now we have the retake in with rifles in the hands of North. Limitations when it comes down to that kit. Time pressing against them. And they need to move fast because Tao's getting aggressive as well. He's sat in the molly, burned down to 50. When this smoke fades, he's got to take a kill with him because he's already being wrapped from Mertz on the behind. And he's going to take that frag. Flicking back to the front and into the smoke. Tao will make it work. It's only AZ left up, and surely this round is just a formality because he's got no kit to play with. One frag, it won't be enough. Got to save the AWP, and Groovy won't even give him that.
Wow, there you have it. I love that EGO just go explosively down into the B site, right? We saw a round like that once from North where they got caught up on the T side of Ivy. And once the bomb was dropped into the open, they still tried to, kind of regain that bit of momentum. But even though AGO lose players on A this round, they had that bomb already in preparation, ready to go straight towards the B site. So they had a fallback, right? They had a plan B. And clearly, it still works out for them, despite the best efforts of North as they go barreling back into that retake, and it was a valiant effort. Nice shot from AZ over from the oil tankard. Of course, it was Tao who was able to get out of the Molotov, even with 50 HP, still just like a turret, whipped around and picked up kills. And like you mentioned, not even the op was saved, so.
And again, these late pauses from AGO, they've been holding on to them. They've got a lot left. So, sitting in the lead by just 2 rounds here, back in control of their map pick. The constant fast pace from AGO catching North off guard. And it seems like North barely ever have had the right buys to contend back, but now they have no excuses. 2 AWPs, kits on 3, and utility is not a miss. So North are going to have every opportunity they need into this round to take it back and stop AGO from closing out their pick.
Initial movement inside this A site leaves North still in full control. Ivy's not being forced by AGO. Hell, ladder room not even. Which is perfectly fine, right? You still have so much time to work with. You've got full belts of utility. Gotta try and figure out where these players are at, and Mertz being at the B site is news to me. Aha, but AZ's there in order to pick up the first kill. So despite Mertz being on the other side of the map, they do again still have this op presence. But they don't keep their eyes consistently down Ivy, and that will allow for the bomb to just scuttle his way back. Valda getting curious as the flames come to a close. The threat yet not extinguished though, because Furlan will creep his way onto the ramp, and that's going to call for reinforcements to come over. They might just burst straight past this B defense.
But Mertz has fallen back after initially losing control of the ramp, so he's at no real threat right now. He leaves his teammate hung out to dry in some sense as Valdi's tasked with watching the ramp up close, but at least even if Valdi goes down, it will be a 4-on-4. 20 seconds left, this push needs to come through. MSL was hunting for that backstab and he will get tagged up a little bit, but still falls back alive. Valdi with one on the defense and Mertz with a sick flick to hold it back. He may be able to do this with time alone, but Furlan fights from the top. 2 frags to his name and 10 seconds on the clock as the bomb goes down.
The rotator's already back behind the train yard, so the Molotov's supposed to deny some kind of a flank, and the flank's not actually there. Oh no, Tao's gonna even creep his way in. But he's actually managed to get himself back behind them. The damage not good enough, and there you have it. AZ with a spinal tap thanks to the op. Mertz did a good job of at least cutting down the numbers initially, but he got so tunnel visioned, Hugo, on that cross to the bomb site that he didn't see the man go up top. That was nearly what cost them the round. And then, of course, we just have the remaining T's stuck in no man's land. Nobody could move, no one could retreat. Oh, shot by AZ.
Dirty.
Opper, by the way.
Yeah, second Opper.
Yeah. Again, second Opper because there's still 2 in play. North will move forward with that same strat, and, well, AGO buy at least 1 back. It is, of course, in the hands of Snatchy. Still the significant top fragger. Still a threat in and of his own. But this round already starts to go the way of North. Mertz is trying to pull a Snatchy, that aggressive forward positioning over towards T-Con, taking fights on his own damn terms. And yes, he does it a second time in this round. And look at him just freely move around these situations. He wants more. He's hungry. Or thirsty, maybe.
Well, look at Furlan, though. Okay, buddy. Just snuck out towards the E-box. Mertz, still aggressive, though, takes him down. No way Furlan would have expected Mertz to be in such a close position after 2 kills, but he makes it a 3rd nonetheless. Removing a lot of the problems that North have been having, mainly in the form of Snatchy there. But the trade is back for Groovy, so AGO are still in this round by the skin of their teeth, because Valdi's already pushed into the back line, but it gives an opportunity for a free kill for Groovy. Problem is, he's turned the wrong way. He's got his back to the opposition, and Valdi spots the leg and takes him down. Another kill the way of North, and another bit of pressure removed as Tao was the last man up. Fake flash, and walks to his death.
Oh, I thought that was a sacrificial ritual.
What, into the fire?
Burn the Glocks.
Yeah. They are pretty bad.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a nice one. Just catching PHR through the edge of the exit. This one was curious to me. I guess Furlan didn't see him because he was so close to the smoke.
He was actually in the smoke. He was hidden inside of the smoke. So assuming Mertz didn't go for that really ballsy play, I guess Furlan would have even killed him.
Yeah, very
so it's
true.
not even necessarily the worst play Furlan could have made there, but Mertz just completely gamed him.
Yeah, Furlan's thinking he's 2 steps ahead, right?
Yeah.
Sneaky in his positioning when really he's a sitting duck. Utility is not great here for AGO. So what do? What's the most simplistic? You just blanket the B bomb site. Smoke off Mertz's position as you exit down ramp, get that plant in, and then cross your fingers and hope to God you can lock down the after plant. But Mertz spots the leg of Furlan, slams him through the paneling, and Valda, well, he's just beneath the upper ledge, but that's where PHR will look downwards and deny him. It's a man advantage now for AGO, not to mention the bomb plant.
Yeah, Valdi's played that position so often that AGO was clearly expecting it. They weren't pushing down the ramp, they were waiting for the player above to take the damage, and PHR, he's done that again. Second kill coming through, Snatchy finds his double as well, locking down the rotation, and PHR, cold killer.
Calm and collected. AGO just, I mean, they kept it simple, right?
Yeah.
Smoke off Mertz, get yourself into the A site. I love that deep volley of grenades into the depths of the train, because even if someone had managed to get out from Z connector into like the CT door entrance, well, those smokes are in their faces. They can't get past the stoppers. They can't get over towards, again, the oil tankard. It's so limiting in that sense. And they only had a small volley of nades, and well, it's an even smaller volley of damage from North so far, because all they have is pistols in this one. 2P250 is not going to be enough for much. The damage is there, sure, but the kills most certainly aren't. Valda has snuck behind enemy lines, but this is definitely AGO grabbing 14.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You don't believe?
No.
I don't blame you. Snatchy again, 2 kills in this round. Furlan found a nice double entry on top of that one, but it seems like consistently every single time AGO win a round, Snatchy's had at least 2 of those kills. Valdi just exits it. The reason he plays so passive is because if AGO were going to chase, which they shouldn't, they would split up and look for clues. So Valdi can maybe isolate one player here, whereas if he walked back into the A site, he knows he's going to meet at least 2 or 3, maybe even more. So AGO don't make the mistake of hunting. They group up, they walk down Ivy. They hold on to their guns, keeping every single penny here in round 26, which is definitely important considering how close we're getting. AGO taking the lead by 2 rounds, but North do have this buy coming through, and a lucrative buy coming through as well. We're definitely going to have AWPs in play, and the option for 2, it was certainly an option here. AZ might be joining Mertz in that one because he's had some significant impact on his own AWP, as we saw on that B site just a couple of rounds ago.
Go back into the guns. No double op setup, remember.
Nope.
I think that is a crucial note, seeing as well Mertz has been taking it to this B site as of late. They also had AZ on A, and he's had a couple highlight clips with it. Although you can see, obviously, North, they're so poised to try and box into these brown halls. Not only, obviously, with Mertz behind his teammates, but 2 men ahead, both upper and ramp, ready to strike. It's MSL and Valda, heavy hitters. But what they're doing first is allowing for AGO to try and creep forward, get that much closer when really no one's there. They've got their eyes set towards the A site with 2 players at the bottom of ladder and 3 towards spawn. Those, of course, are those who can set their smokes. The execution will have no shortage of utility included with it. But when does it come, Hugo? That's the question. When do they strike?
We haven't seen much Pop Dog control this entire map, so AGO going towards it definitely hints towards an A play, but MSL, he looks to take control back on his own terms. Forced up, Snatchy on the ladder, he has not. That's not the right gun for this position, and MSL just takes a free kill. Smoke to his feet, and AGO held back with a man disadvantage. With 30 seconds left as well, they are poised to attack. They have to commit, and it's down towards B with a triple setup once stood, but it's only 2 left, and 2 will be enough. Mertz and Valdi a kill each. And it's desperation here for AGO. They're left to run out onto the A site, hoping for something to work their way.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Not now that MSL continues to strike. I love that setup from North. I mean, MSL, he's playing the far extremity, right? The top of the B bomb site. And once him, Valde, and Mertz realize there's nobody there, well, you've also got AZ over on Ivy who's calling an opening there. So where they have to be? It's got to be T-Con and, of course, here in ladder room. So MSL takes the responsibility upon himself to try and disrupt the setup. And sure enough, with a Molotov at the feet, forcing Snatchy upwards, he then pushes in, finds an opening pick, and then transitions AGO into the trap. That 2-man setup towards B. It is so smooth, and it just goes to show how MSL will put himself in those playmaker positions in order for his team to succeed.
Oh, Molotov at the feet of AZ. He's got to run on back, and while he does escape, there's some serious damage going his way, and Kiebi even gets dropped through the smoke. So Snatchy doesn't need vision either. Still finds another kill. Now sitting on, I think, 33, which is obscene.
I just don't see those plays as being worth it, right? You're trying to go for spam fights versus you don't know how many players.
The reason Kiebi was fighting there is to keep the pressure on so his teammate could run back. He wouldn't have done that on its own. It's just that AZ got caught in the Molotov, so he had to peek.
And just so baited in, though. That's the problem, right?
It's just a complete luck play. That's the issue. I don't like that position in Ivy. I don't like playing that box. It was obvious AZ wanted to push further, but because AGO were so close and so set up, he didn't want to commit.
Whoa, Mertz still manages to get Furlan. That was a quick response. Quick flick down, but not a quick rotation. North, they're not going to get into position fast enough, and you know the save is potentially on the table. But no, they're going to force the issue. They're trying to retake before this plant even happens, and that's going to start costing you. Snatchy's ready to pluck you from the sky. And after one more dies, that's when they will call this quits.
I was going to say, they shouldn't have even attempted that. They have no money anyway. North, I mean, we've got players on $1,000. Up against 15 now for AGO.
And it would have been one thing if like you still had some stake in that gunfight, if you had an anchor maybe hiding somewhere inside the bomb site to create a distraction and make an opening. But when you've lost the bomb site, your rotate's not even through Z yet, you know guys like Snatchy are just lying in wait. And you never pressured Ivy or anywhere else on the map, so why would they expect to flank?
The big problem as well for that was if you have 4 players going for that and then you lose a man and fall back and save, that's okay because you've got 3 players left to drop over guns. When you lose from 3 to 2, now the money really does get called into question for North. I'd love to look and see how much they have specifically, but I'm pretty sure it's, you know, a couple of players on 3,000, one of them at least had 1,000. You know, there wasn't enough money on North to fully commit to a buy. But
that to me is just a supreme example of a man who knows his angles here on train, right? The moment those shots come through, Snatchy's like, oh, you think so? Never mind. Denied. 34 frags, making it look easy. As AGO now have, of course, overtime secured. They will have 2 map points to try and keep this out of overtime. They'd love to finish in regulation, seeing as our first map, however, did take 2 OTs. I wouldn't be surprised if we're not yet done here.
And MSL actually bought an MP7 at the start of the round and dropped it over and got a rifle. So North, well, it might not make a big difference. It's a bit of money wasted there. But for now, a slow play from AGO again, feeding out the map. We've seen North from time to time throw in a bit of aggression here and there in the form of maybe MSL pushing into Pop Dog or taking some control towards the box halls to at least garner some information. But North for now are holding back, apart from Kierby, who's taking control of TCOM with also the support of the AWP up close. A pretty common setup on this A site. But it won't be the A site where AGO want to commit for now. It's the old faithful, B. They've had so much success here in the past. They've won so many rounds, forced North to save. And although there are 3 players here for the Danish side, they are going to need some big kills if they want to actually contest this round. 30 seconds on the clock, and the smoke's lining over.
Yeah, here they come, and there they go back. It's Tau to open up. Valda can't get anything done, and while MSL picks up a kill, he's going to be denied anything further. Mertz, however, will find that flank, so that's not going to be the issue. The problem is the B site's gone. It's crumbled beneath the feet of what? Mertz with an opening out of nowhere, and he even gets the leg. This is going to allow for Kierby to come into play, but he does find himself alone. He still picks up the kill. He still has a chance. North not down just yet, and Kierby's going to close this distance, but Snatchy's just so damn good. Can he grab another round? Can he deny this push? Yes, he can! AGO forcing this to a 3rd. Train is theirs. It's his playground. What a rock star Snatchy is.
36 kills at the end of the map. I mean, this is all Snatchy today. He is having a fantastic performance here in Jönköping. And he wants to continue that on the 3rd and final map of this series. That's going to be Inferno, Connor, and I don't know where this one is going.
No, I mean, I feel like we've just been back and forth in these maps, whether it be from just good team play or, in this essence, just individual stars.
Yeah.
That is a whole other beast to try and deal with, and they need to find a solution moving into Inferno. But Hugo, how many fantastic series end on a great Inferno through?
I mean, that is the end to all good best of 3s there. So I'm very excited to see if we can see one team have a phenomenal performance and Snatchy again to step up in that final map. Not a map known for AWPers though. We've had Dust too, we've had Train. Those are great maps for AWP players, but now moving into a 3rd that is not known for its AWPing prowess, especially on that T side, this could be a bit of a worry. But hey, I believe in Snatchy. After those 2 maps, I definitely believe in Snatchy.
Yeah, and even then, right, it's not necessarily going to have to be him to step up, right? We know both these lineups have some star-studded players. So you guys are going to have to stay tuned in order to watch that 3rd map unfold. It is North, and it is AGO with elimination on the line. Inferno up next. We'll see you there.